All right, it's 5 past, so let's get started. Looks like we're already recording, so that's great. First things first, welcome back, everyone. We had kind of a light first working group back, so Happy New Year to everyone that we didn't see last week. I hope everybody had some time off and relaxed and didn't think about Buildpacks too much. To kick us off, I was wondering if anybody would be able to volunteer to be a note taker today.
I can do that.
Thank you. Cool. All right, looking at new faces, it doesn't look like anyone new has joined today, so we can move on. So I'll share my screen for looking at the outstanding RFCs. Cool. So starting from the bottom, we have proposed additional JVMs in Java Buildpack.
Yeah, I had some discussions with Daniel this morning, and there's still some technical challenges that we need to overcome. And he suggested we take another approach and actually open up another RFC to create a Java Buildpack specific builder. So I'm working on that RFC. Hopefully I'll have that done before the next work group meeting. But until that's resolved, this one's not going to move any further, I don't think.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you want to either draft this or close out this PR, or are you planning on leaving it open?
I'm planning on leaving it open because it still needs, this still needs to be resolved. I mean, this is my ultimate goal, is to have additional JVMs available to the Java Buildpack. And one way to do that is to create a Java specific builder.
Got it. So it's kind of blocked on this other RFC.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great.
So maybe we can reflect that in the notes on the bottom, and I can add a blocked label on here so we have that context. Cool.
Perfect.
Thank you. Do you want to talk about the other one?
Just out of curiosity, what's your main goal? Is it to have an IBM specific JVM available for your use cases, or do you think there's value in just giving the whole thing with a simple configuration option? Because the way, like for context, the decision that we took is we actually have an own builder. Just having the two different JVMs that SAP produces, one for Java 8 and the other for 11 and 17, and decided to go that way, and it works pretty nicely. I mean, you do get some responsibilities with that, but on the other hand, you really have some tight control over other things. Like for us now, this means we actually produce kind of everything. We produce our own stack, which is slightly bigger than Tiny. We produce our own Java meta Buildpack because we don't need lining and SBT and other build tools that are available in the meta Buildpack. And we finally package a builder, and it is okay in terms of efforts, and it's rather easily to be automated.
Yeah. So my main motivation is to make it easier to use the Eclipse OpenJ9 JVM, and I just kind of felt like the way we added additional Java app servers to the Java Buildpack is by just defining an environment variable. So that's easy to do. So that's why I wrote the initial RFC to just make it easier to choose any JVM you want, and that'll be available to everybody. I understand the work you have done. And I just don't know if we want to invest that sort of time and effort and energy to create our own stack builders.
All right. It's just, I guess it's the layer limit, right? That makes this not applicable for the standard builder, right? Because otherwise, yeah, of course, that would be That would be an
Yep.
easy thing to just say, let's just add them, get an environment variable. But there's the catch is the 127 layers, I guess.
Right, and yeah, that's a technical challenge that I've been referring to, that layer limit. And I kind of did a little bit of prototype, creating a Java composite build pack builder with all the JVMs was only like 44 layers. I don't know exactly sure what it is without all the JVMs, but it's, I mean, we definitely could not just add it to the standard builders.
Understood.
Cool. Kevin, do you want to speak to the other RFC that you just mentioned while you already have the floor?
Sure. I haven't finished writing it yet,
Oh, perfect.
but it's basically just to create a Java builder specific or Java build pack specific builder that'll just have the build packs needed by the Java composite builder and not have any of the other family languages stuff in there.
Got
And that's primarily to get by the layer limit that prevents us from adding new build packs to the current builders.
Awesome, thank you. All right, anything else on those two? All right, we can move on. Next, we have this require a specific Java version in the build plan, RFC. Is there anyone here who could speak to this? Oh.
I guess I could, but there's nobody else there from the Java maintenance. It doesn't really look like it's much appreciated. The idea is to have some more loose coupling in how this gets decided. So there are some indicators for how you could actually realize what version of Java is needed. And this is about opening up the build plan logic to something where this could easily be done. Just imagine a Maven build pack realizing from the Maven POM that a certain Java version is set, and then just requesting this specific version instead of just relying on the default. I think it lately came up when Spring Boot 3 came out and doesn't work with the default Java version in the Java build pack. But it seems like Daniel thinks this is adding too much complexity. To be honest, I still have to sync with Ralph from my team in terms of an answer to that, and if we can actually manage to convince the Java maintainers that this might still be a good enough trade-off in terms of complexity and others. I really have to read more on that. I don't quite get the complexity that Daniel sees, but maybe it's there and it's just lack of experience. But that's the idea basically, right? That build packs can request not only just give me a JDK, but also the specific version if they know that a specific version is needed. I mean, there are some indicators, and right now there are one or two specific logic things, one even contributed by us, I think, that are now directly hard-coded in libjvm. So libjvm, if it finds Maven-specific metadata in a jar manifest, then it just picks the right version, so to say. But that's pretty specific, and it's, I think, in the wrong place. But there's a bit of disagreement about right and wrong places here.
Got it. Thank you for that. It sounds pretty Java specific, but is there anything
It is definitely
that non-Java maintainers can help you with on this?
Well, the only thing, I don't know enough about the others. The only thing would be if something like that mechanism, it actually has a precedent in the Paketo project. So if there would be in the Node or I don't know, Ruby ecosystem, if there would be something where such a mechanism exists and works nicely and like, or you have some experience with the complexity that it resulted with, like result could also be that yes, it exists, but we shouldn't have done it. So that could be helpful, that's true. But I don't actually, to be frank, don't know if any of these exists as a precedent. I don't know.
All right. So yeah, it sounds like more sync up is needed, and then anybody else in the ecosystem outside of Java is able to take a look, definitely do, just to see if we can find this pattern anywhere else in our build packs.
I'd be curious from other Java users, so maybe Kevin is also somebody who could comment on that, if that is something that would be valuable or not. Like maybe you have an opinion there.
I certainly got bit by the Spring Boot problem. So definitely would have been nice to be able to specify another version of Java. So I do see your point. And I would find this very useful. And I could add comments too.
So yeah, you can add. It's like in the end, Daniel actually started collecting use cases that are currently not supported and asks for more if there are more, and then have a more guided decision on if it's worth the effort or if there are other solutions to it. The Spring Boot thing will probably quickly resolve. Like we are working on an RFC to bump the default version to 17, and actually probably going one step further and establish a process of when are we going to bump it the next time. So maybe that resolves most of it, because I guess the Spring Boot community waits a little bit until they require newer versions of Java, but it's more like Band-Aid from my point of view. But it will work, right? Setting the default version to 17 will solve the Spring Boot problem.
Thank you. Makes sense. Okay, we have another Java RFC from David, who is not here, but is wondering if anybody has any context on this RFC.
I have a little.
Please share.
It's a bit triggered by our efforts to provide some integration tests for the Java Buildpacks, which we run on our end, but I think the Java Buildpack got bitten once or twice already in the past by some things that were unexpected, some Buildpacks behaving strangely, requiring certain things, and then I think there were some things detecting too freely or not detecting. And one of the major concerns from Daniel and David were that the execution times are quite long and there are a lot of PRs. So I think that's the root of this idea of having a kind of branch for all these PRs. So you can run the integration tests on the merge into the main branch instead of for each and every PR. So I think that's the idea behind this. I threw in some other ideas for that could be even alternative solutions based on Renovate, but I agree with Daniel. Like if that is not a lot of effort, then it's a quick step forward. Would allow to merge the integration tests that are in flight as a PR, and we could think as a project about something like Renovate. Where I guess we should at some point in time open an RFC to propose something for the whole project and throw in some of our experience with Renovate.
Right, it's coming back to me now. We did discuss this last week. We were saying, as this comment says over here, be a great opportunity to align in the project between Java and non-Java. So I think we've said in the past that this idea of using Renovate is pretty interesting. So definitely open to seeing an RFC about that. And
we use it. We use it for everything, starting with the stack. Actually, like we get bumps for all the packages. Like there's a data source called Ripology where they actually collect from a bunch of distributions the package metadata. So we actually even use it for our stack description. And for the dependencies in between, so all the meta buildback to buildback dependencies and all these things works pretty nicely.
Awesome. Seems like this RFC is coming along. Does anybody else have anything they want to add on this one? Okay, we'll keep an eye out and looking forward to seeing that RFC as well. Okay, and then the last one we have here is a .NET Core specific RFC from Forrest, and Forrest let me know he can't join today. So I haven't actually had a chance to read through the RFC, so I won't speak too much to it, but I know it's essentially we've recently introduced a new build pack into the .NET Core ecosystem, .NET Core ASP.NET Runtime, which replaces the .NET Core Runtime and the .NET Core ASP.NET separate build packs. And so what Forrest is proposing here, I believe, is to remove the .NET Core Runtime and ASP.NET build packs and update the new build pack that we have to adhere to the old and the new build plan API so that we can give users a migration path if they have other build packs that were consuming the .NET Core Runtime and ASP.NET build packs with those provides and requires, so that we can slowly move people away from that workflow and using the new set of build packs, or the new build pack, I should say. I think he just opened this today, so if anybody's interested in .NET Core or this general pattern, definitely take a look and leave some comments. All right, I'm not hearing anything else about this one. So I think we are done talking about all of the open RFCs and we can move on. The next thing would be C&B updates and questions. Don't think we had any last week, but are there any updates people are aware of from the Cloud Native Build Pack side of things? Right, does not sound like it. So we can move on. From a project update point of view, I don't see anything here. We are more or less done with our dependency management overhaul. I think we came back from the end of the year break and we were just finishing up some small touches, but I think for the most part, all of our main dependencies have been moved over. We're now doing some polishing, like spinning down workflows on the depth server, refactoring a couple of compilation that we have, I think for PHP and maybe another dependency that were kind of rough, that we kind of rushed so we could get the dependency stuff over the line. So we're just doing some finishing touches, but all of the dependencies in the project for the non-Java build pack should now be off the depth server, which is great. I think besides that, I don't have any major project updates, but if anybody else has one that they want to share, feel free. Okay, and then finally, we can move on to open mic questions or any discussion topics people have. Okay, last call. Alrighty, does not seem like we have any today. That's fine. Thank you everyone for joining, and I will see you next week.
See you. Thanks for hosting.
Bye.
Bye.